I think I addressed my fear of change by my motto so far in life has been say yes and then figure it out. So I said yes to an opportunity that came, and then I figured it out. I relied on my support system around me when I needed to. I certainly made enough, mistakes along the way, and had to learn humility. Being in a feedback loop now with coworkers and your boss giving you feedback was new territory for me. I was usually the one giving the feedback, so I think no one gets it perfect out the gate, and it's
Right.
more about
Yes.
riding that roller coaster and I guess at the end of the day, just making sure that you've got the right people around you to hold you up when you're questioning whether you made the right decision or not.
Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified when the next video comes out. It only takes 2 seconds to make 2 clicks. So let's do it. Let's get back to the video. Hello, 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 Fearless Freedom Tribe. This is Dr. G, and we're back for another exciting episode of the Fearless Freedom with Dr. G podcast. And today we have Lauren St. George with us, and she's going to tell us all about what's next, I guess, right? I don't know. Let's see. Let's hear it. So tell us all about you, Lauren, and tell us what you are up to.
Well, thank you for having me. What's next? Yeah, that's a good question. It's something we all face at some point in our life, whether it's as a business or as an individual. And so that's what I do. I help people to figure out what they want to do next, in their life. And it's come out of a long journey from helping, from consulting and coaching, and before that, marketing, branding, really focused at figuring out how to grow, how to reach goals. So it's fun work.
Awesome. So, you tell us that there's a backstory. So we like hearing the backstory. So how did everything get started? What got you into this, etc.?
Absolutely. So I many years ago I had a creative agency, and we found a really good sweet spot working with innovation teams within corporate clients. And I came across a team that were responsible for helping to run workshops, to help clients figure out big, bold ideas and to solve challenges and to envision the future. And they did it in a really fun way. And it got me really interested in their process. So I ended up going and getting my master's degree in a similar process.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, what am I going to do with that now? And I've got this degree, I've got a different background. Am I going to make a lane change? And so I ended up changing lanes and joining a company. And then I was having a conversation with my mom who had retired early at 55. And she said, I
Nice.
really wish that I'd spent more time thinking about what I was retiring to versus what I was retiring from. And that sort of statement really piqued my interest. And I was like, I bet I can take what I do with businesses and I can design something that helps people to figure out what that next chapter is. So it really was a culmination of, being interested in something that one of my clients did, my degree, and then my mother kind of making that statement that made me think, she's not alone in, we spend more time oftentimes planning, celebrations and weddings and even purchasing a house, but not necessarily our life. And so that's what got me started.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. And then how did you even get into the initial area of expertise? Like, how did that happen? Like, did you always know you wanted to do that? Was there some pivotal event that occurred? Is there some fear you're facing that led you there?
I think a central sort of theme throughout my life has been around creativity, which is not artistic ability, but it's really how do you solve challenges. And so, from a really young age, my mom used to play these lateral thinking games with me that would often take me as a kid would take me weeks to figure out the answer to the question that she had asked by playing a simple yes no game. And over time, I got better at those, which was all about really learning how to ask the right questions. Um, and so I think that has been sort of a central thread to my life as creativity, and it's manifested in different ways, whether that's been in the creative world, graphic design and video editing and all of that in my background. So there's just been this thread of creativity, and now it's more on that sort of strategic side of helping to solve challenges. But creativity in and of itself has some really great principles that I think allow all of us, if we embody them, to really ride the waves of change. And so that's kind of become my mission, is to help people to be more creative and better problem solvers.
Neat. Oh, wow. Your mom sounds like a pretty cool person. She has you thinking like that. That's fantastic. And then, so, did you so what kind of degree did you do? Like, did you do a program? Like, how did you translate what she taught you during your developmental years into the career you have now?
So, I mean, I think we all oftentimes will find ourselves in similar paths to our parents. Recently, there are doctors out there that have parents who are doctors, and I ended up in a creative field doing marketing and branding, because my mom had been in a similar kind of field. She was more on research and but within agencies. So I think we oftentimes find our way to things because of what we're surrounded by. And so, I started off with a love of making videos and telling stories that way, and then it led to starting my own agency. So, it's changed over time, but I think I think there's been a central thread to it all.
Okay. All right. Awesome. 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 And then when you went to make the lanes change, did you
Mm-hmm.
have any fear associated with that? Like, was there any pause, any contemplation? Like, what happened there?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we all face change face fear anytime we're making a big change. I think we're we're biologically created to avoid things that are scary. Our brains want to keep us safe, right? And in a comfort zone, we're much better if we're on autopilot and predictability and all of those things. So when change comes along, so that fight or flight in our brains kicks in and go, no, I don't think that's a good idea. So yeah, I faced some fear. I'd come from a world of running my own businesses, and I transitioned into working for corporate, and so there was definitely a learning curve in going from being your own boss to now working for someone. It's a huge change. Learning how to navigate, when do I step forward and make decisions, or when do I have to divert to someone else? What do I look like now? Who am I now in this new environment, and how do I bring my strengths and make sure that people recognize that and know that about me? So it was definitely a cultural shock for me, even though I'd worked with corporate clients. I'd spent more than enough time walking around my clients' offices, but there's definitely a big change in going from running your own shop to working for someone else. And so, yeah, there was fear in that of not only making a lane change, so going from a world where I was comfortable in calling the shots and knowing what I needed to do next, to not only changing from by running my own thing to being in the corporate world, but also changing fundamentally what I did. So it was definitely one of those moments where I was a duck. I always talk about being calm on the surface while you're frantically swimming, paddling underneath the water to sort of keep up. And now it's been a number of years and it's feeling more comfortable. But yeah, we all face fear with change.
Okay. So it sounds like you basically put your head down and attacked it head on. It doesn't sound
Oh,
like you. It doesn't sound like you, because I mean, you described, paddling your feet under the water, behind the scenes, basically like, using the learning curve and like aggressively approaching it. So it sounds like that's how you addressed your fear of change. Did I get that right?
I think I addressed my fear of change by my motto so far in life has been say yes and then figure it out. So I said yes to an opportunity that came, and then I figured it out. I relied on my support system around me when I needed to. I certainly made enough, mistakes along the way, and had to learn humility. Being in a feedback loop now with coworkers and your boss giving you feedback was new territory for me. I was usually the one giving the feedback, so I think no one gets it perfect out the gate, and it's
Right.
more about
Yes.
riding that roller coaster, and I guess at the end of the day, just making sure that you've got the right people around you to hold you up when you're questioning whether you made the right decision or not.
Okay. All right. I like it. Hey, it's Dr. G, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you for listening to this episode. I'm so honored to have you here with me. Did you know that I can help you to get your own podcast started? With my podcasting launch course for professionals, I walk you through everything you need to know about starting a podcast. I'm with you every step of the way, from sign up to launching your show, with 5 episodes ready to go. There's a done for you version that's also available. If you would just rather just do recordings and leave the behind the scenes work up to us, then that one is definitely for you. But either way, we've got your back here at Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Oh, if you already have a show and you need production services, we have monthly plans available for you. So check out the links in the episode show notes for more information. Let's get back to the show. So you're saying that yes, you actually have an interesting way then, because you say yes and then you figure it out, which is interesting, because a lot of times when I say we, I mean women, tend not to approach things that way, which is unfortunate because we have the capability of doing that, right? As you have proven. But we tend to want to have all the credentials and all of the items in place prior to saying yes. Whereas it sounds like, not to say you don't have the credentials, but what I'm saying is, oftentimes our counterparts will just say yes, regardless of whether they know how to do the thing or not. And then they kind of learn on the way as well. But we tend to not do that because we tend to want to be excellent out the gate. And so we don't necessarily take that risk, because it is a risk. I mean, obviously, and so, that is a huge, huge item that you brought up, because that is something that I've talked to many people about over my own career, and just in the very beginning of my career, I said yes to a lot of things regardless of what was going to be the end result, and as a result of that, there was major growth, like major experiences, major exposures, major opportunities that would not necessarily have been made available had I not taken that chance. But that took me not, facing my own fears, right? Because that is a fear, right? You're a high achieving individual. And so the fear of a high achieving individual is to not be excellent at what you're doing, not putting forward an excellent product. And so, there's a lot of risk, a lot of fear facing in saying yes and then figuring it out on the back end. So yeah, it's just it's pretty cool that that's how things like manifested for you.
I mean, I think we all face that sort of imposter syndrome, and really questioning, are we should we be in the room? And I think you're right, women do that more than men do. But I also think part of it comes from our education system that teaches us like we've got to get the right answer the first time, and that's not the way that the world and life really works. So this idea of it's got to be 100% out the gate, or I shouldn't do it. It takes a reprogramming, I think, and time to get for many people to get to a point of going, you know what, I might not get it right the first time. I might fall flat, but I'm going to learn and pick myself up and keep doing it, which is more like that innovation mindset, right? Of
Yes.
iterate,
Yeah.
fail quickly. And I really talk to my clients about that, because if you can get into that place and be more playful with it, and you will get further faster, you will grow immensely. But yes, there's risk in it, and there's fear of that failure from happening. And yeah, for some, I think you can make that shift, and for others, it just takes longer.
Agreed. Agreed. So I was just saying thank you for saying that that's how you approach things, because I think it is, as you said, for many people, that process is a longer process. To be honest with you, like that approach, like but it sounds like you have been trained in that way from childhood, from your mom's approach to how she had you thinking about things. So, you had, that is an advantage, right? Because most people are ingrained with the system that we are brought up in, to have the right answer, as you said. And we're not as playful, we're not as we don't stretch ourselves as creatively to understand that, just be an early adopter, like adopt a thing. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, then you learned a lesson. It's not a failure. It is a learning experience or a learning opportunity. And I think that you also have that advantage being an entrepreneur. Like you started out as an entrepreneur, and then you became a part of a group. But that whole mindset, the entrepreneurial mindset, is solely based on that, because you can't not be a quick adopter and trial of things and be successful as an entrepreneur. And obviously you were successful, so you did those things. So it's just, I'm just pointing it out, because what is very natural for you is likely not very natural for people hearing your story. So that's why I am pointing it out. And it's a huge testament to your upbringing, right? And your mom and her approach. And it's a huge testament to the product that made, and so it's inspiring. And I just don't know how often you actually lay that out. And I just wanted to kind of lay it out, because it's remarkable. It's very unique. And so it is to be celebrated, and it is to be, I guess not explained, but pointed out.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No worries. And so now you should tell us, if you will, about your current program, like what you offer your clients, and how does that go about, and what kinds of clients you cater to.
Once an entrepreneur, I think you're always one. So while I do have one foot within the corporate world, I also continue to have a foot within the entrepreneurial space. So what's next is something that I launched during COVID. A lot of people were questioning, life at that point, and did they want to go back to work in an office and that 9 to 5 job? And so I started working with professionals. They tend to be 40 plus, but honestly, I've worked with people from their 20s to their 80s, and it's really I've worked with people who fundamentally are just feeling stuck. They want change in their life, but they really don't know what they want to do next, or they have a ton of ideas and can't make a decision on where to get started from. And so it can be any part of your life. It tends to be pivotal moments. So people who are, it could be career change. That's certainly a big one that I work with people on. But it could be, what's life looking like after divorce, or becoming an empty nester. Focusing on what does retirement look like. Those big moments in our lives where we do ask what's next, and we don't always have a clear plan as to how we're going to get there, what it's going to look like. So that's what I do with people. I do it it's a 6-week coaching program that I do. It's in a cohort situation, usually 4 to 7 people that I've vetted, and that they're all starting from a similar place. And why I do that is because it offers instant accountability. You can show up for yourself and for them. It builds a community. You realize you're not alone in the way that you're feeling, because everyone gets stuck at some point. And then you also have a wealth of experience and expertise of the other people. So now you have a way to break out of your traditional way of thinking, because if you keep asking the same question, you're going to keep getting the same answer. And so
yes.
the people help to break through that and really do the disruptive thinking part of it. They may say something that just in a way that you haven't heard it before, that triggers a thought. And so I think that's really special.
Oh, it sounds awesome. And so how can someone get information about the program?
So my website is answerwhatsnext.com. You can book a call with me through there. You can sign up for my weekly newsletter, which has tools and to help inspire you along your journey. So that's the best way to find me.
Awesome. Sounds lovely. And so how many of these are you doing? Like, is it a quarterly situation? If a 6-week program, are you doing them once a quarter, or how are you typically?
Roughly once a quarter. My next one actually starts in a couple of weeks, but I try to get at least 4 done in a year. We do it in the evenings because most people tend to be professionals with day jobs,
right.
So that works for a lot of people.
Okay.
But yeah,
awesome. And it is Answer What's Next. So AnswerWhatsNext, right?
correct.
Okay, cool. The only reason why I spell it out is because people are listening. Sometimes we say things and they don't catch, there's like a nuance.
I think you may have dropped the W in answer, but I think you got most of it.
Okay, great.
I didn't hear you, so I think we're good. I think we're good.
All right, perfect. As I just don't want them to go to the wrong place. This is basically why.
Please, yes, I appreciate that you find me.
Okay, cool. All right, so we are at that point in the show where we have a tradition. Are you ready? Are you ready for our fill in the blanks? Okay, fantastic. All right, so the first one is, if I am fearless, I will.
I will. Oh well, I'll take that step that I've been avoiding. Right. I'll take the leap.
Nice. And the next one is, to me, fearless freedom means
not being afraid you're going to fail.
Love it. And last but not least, my battle cry is
say yes and make it happen.
Oh, look at that. The life mantra. I love it. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and spending some time with us here at the Fearless Freedom Tribe. We appreciate all the work that you're doing, and we look forward to seeing great things happening for you. And I am sure that there are persons who are listening who will be tuning in to answerwhatsnext.com, right? Is it .com?
You got it.
All right, cool. .com and checking you out and perhaps getting involved in the coaching that you offer. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Again, I'm Dr. G. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified of when the next episode is going to be. And also, I'll catch you next time. Have a great one. Be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.